Welcome to all the devotees to our Saturday Bhakti Vaibhav class. So today we are going to begin fourth canto. Very interesting and very inspiring canto for the devotees. We'll understand many things from fourth canto and also from fifth canto, the first part of the fifth canto. So these two cantos actually, what we can say, they actually show us the vision how devotees go through a lot of difficulties, passing through all the difficulties, eventually they attain the highest perfection, going back from that to unlimited. So all these things are very nicely presented in these two cantos. We'll get to know more details about what are the difficulties and how devotees tackle them and how one need to be careful while dealing with others, etc. Such kind of things we'll come to know in these two cantos. To be more precise, 1.5 cantos, fourth canto and after the fifth canto. Very interesting subject matter. So today we will discuss starting from the first chapter of the fourth canto, genealogical table of the daughters of Manu, or the descendants of Manu's daughters. So in this chapter, currently Maitreya is speaking to Vidura. And in the first chapter, Maitreya described the descendants of the three daughters headed by Akuti and the stories of Lord Yajna and Lord Dattatreya and the birth of Narayana Rishis, etc. are described. So the first chapter, all names only. There are not many pastimes are mentioned, but we will see all those details. So if you remember long back in the third canto, at the end of 12th chapter, Bhagavatam mentions that Lord Brahma, after creating all the variety of living entities and all the variety of Vedic literatures, at the end, for his utmost satisfaction, there appears two living entities, two personalities, one male, one female. That was Svayambhuva and Satarupa. And they eventually married and they begot 5 children. So then at the beginning of the 13th chapter, our Vidura asks, can you please talk about what did Manu do after getting his wife? Because like subject matter of the interest. So person is born, grown up, gets married, then how does he settle? What does he do? So in relation to that, Maitreya Muni talks about that Lord Brahma instructed Svayambhuva Manu to take care of the people, or specifically to take care of the human beings on the Bhumandala. So Manu said Bhumandala is not there, nowhere to be seen, because it went into the Garbhodaka ocean. So by the request of Svayambhuva Manu, Lord Brahma prayed to the Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord appeared and rescued the Bhumandala, and subsequent pastimes of Lord Varaha all mentioned, starting from 13 to all the way up to 19th chapter. Then in the beginning of the 20th chapter, again Vidura says, please tell me what else, what are the other kinds of creations Brahma did? Can you please close the subject matter completely? In the 20th chapter, Maitreya Muni again talks about other types of creations that are carried out by Lord Brahma. So he hears everything, what all Lord Brahma creates, everything, etc. etc. Having heard all those things, and the subject matter culminates with the discussion of again the creation of Svayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. At the end of that chapter, again it talks about Lord Brahma becomes very happy by creating Svayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. It was not only Lord Brahma. In fact, each and every person that has been created by Lord Brahma, till then, they all became very happy by the creation of Svayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. The reason was, we have seen long back we discussed. I don't know how far you remember. Because it is the responsibility of the ruler of the Bhumandala, for that matter here, Svayambhuva Manu and his descendants, they need to perform Yajna. That performance of Yajna will sustain the Devatas and everyone. It will sustain the Rishis, Devatas, and all other living entities that are there in the entire universe. And then what to speak of our near and dear one? It is as we study in Bhagavad Gita, Annat Bhavanti Bhutani. All the living entities are sustained by food. But how come food comes? Parjanyat Annasambhava. It is by rains there comes food. The food not only for human beings. For example, here, so for human beings we get all the grains, we get all the vegetables, all the flowers, fruits, etc. etc. Using them, we sustain ourselves. And using the same food grains, we perform yajna. By that yajna, the devatas are sustained. On the other hand, when it rains, the entire earth is filled with so many green grasses, with which all the variety of uh, herbivorous animals are sustained by eating grasses, leaves, flowers, etc. And by eating those herbivorous animals, carnivorous animals are sustained. So, in one sense, it is only by rains, every living entity, starting from small grass all the way up to the Indra, the greatest of all devatas, everyone depends upon food. Well, they need something. So, Annat Bhavanti Parjanyo, Parjanyat Annasambhava, Yajnat Bhavanti Parjanyo. So, how does that rain come? Rain comes by performance of Yajna. So, rain comes, we get all the food grains, and we, in reciprocation to the Devatas, because they are giving us rain and all the favorable atmosphere, all the facilities. So, when we perform Yajna, the Devatas will get their food. They are nourished. In reciprocation, they give more rains, more better facilities, and we become prosper, and we again perform Yajna. So, like that, the things would go on again and again. Again, it will be like there is mutual prosperity. If we stop performing Yajna, the Devatas will become impoverished or they become weak. Asuras will come and dethrone them, and Asuras will rule over the Swarga, and we are in trouble. We read from Bhagavatam, Vishnu Purana, and Ramayana. When Asuras come to the position, what will happen? Asuras like Ravana, Sura, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, they come to the position. So, 7th Canto we read what all he did, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and Ramayana we read what all they did. So, it was like that. So, Yajna plays an integral part, and that Yajna is the performance of that Yajna is the responsibility of Manu. So, because Manu is appeared and he will perform Yajna, by which every living entity will be sustained in the entire universe, everyone became very, 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 very happy with our Svayambhuva Manu's creation. And they actually says that this is one verse from the 20th chapter. I think it is 3:20:51, wherein all the devatas were glorifying Brahma, saying that Aho etat jaga srishta sukrutam vatate kritam pratishtita kriya yasmin sakam annam adamahe. O creator of the universe, Jagat Rushta, Aho etat jaga srishta sukrutam vatate kritam. Now you have done the best creation among all your creations. This is the sukrutam. This is the best thing that you have done till now. Whatever you have done. That is creating Svayambhuva Manu and Saturupa. Why? By creating Svayambhuva Manu and Saturupa, you have established the process of Yajna. Pratishtita Kriya Yasmin. Here Kriya refers to Yajna. The process of performance of Yajna is established. Why it is so important? Sakam Annam Adamahe. By the performance of that Yajna, all of us will get food. The plants will get food in the form of rains. The green grasses will get food. The herbivorous animals will get food. Carnivorous animals will get food. Human beings will get food. And then Devatas will get food in the form of Yajna. All the Rishis also will get food in the form of Yajna. Everyone in the entire universe is sustained based on that principle. The same chapter of Bhagavad Gita, if you go a little in advance, 8th or 9th verse. Sahayajna Prajasushta Purovacha Prajapati. Ananena Prasiddhastam Yeshavo Ishta Kamadu. So Lord Krishna says that at the very beginning of the creation, it was Lord Brahma had created all the living entities, and Sahayajna Praja Sruštva. He had created all the living entities along with Yajna. So
now it's a difficult thing for you. You can tell them that somebody has arrived.
sorry.
Hare Krishna.
All the way from America. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
So Lord Brahma had created all the living entities, and by creating Manu, he had established Yajna. And by the performance of Yajna, both the human beings and the Devatas will get the fulfillment of their desires. That means Devatas will get their food, human beings will get their food in return. Everyone gets whatever they need. So they'll be happy. That's why the Manu's creation plays a very important role in the entire creation. Of course, it is not only the responsibility of Svayambhuva Manu, but whoever is representing Manu have to continue that responsibility, have to continue that legacy. So, in that way. So, that was the glory of Svayambhuva Manu. So, then, understanding the glorious nature of Svayambhuva Manu in the 20th chapter, at the very beginning of the 21st chapter, Vidura makes a couple of inquiries onto Maitreya, wherein he says that, so the verse you can see in the slides, Svayambhuvasya cha manor Vamsha Parama Sammata Katyatam Bhagavan Yatra Maitunye Naidire Praja. So Vidura says that, so, oh Maitreya, please describe the lineage of the highly respected Svayambhuva Manu, in which the population increased through the process of procreation. So Svayambhuvasya cha manor Vamsha Parama Satnama. So the lineage of Svayambhuva Manu is the Parama Sattama, the greatest pious lineage, one of the best example of pure devotees. Svayambhuva Manu's lineage. So Katayatam Bhagavan Yatra Maitunye Naidire Praja. Can you please describe about Svayambhuva Manu and his lineage, which expanded through the process of procreation, etc. One second. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Hare. So then, in the next verse, Vidura further inquires, Priyavratottana padau sutau Svayambhuvasya vai Yata dharmam jugupatu sapta dvipavatim mahim. Not only the Svayambhuva Manu and his two illustrious sons known as Priyavrata and Uttanapada, also great devotees. Yata dharmam jugupatu, they have actually protected and maintained the Varnashram Dharma in the proper order. And they have ruled over the entire Bhumandala consisting of 7 islands. Sapta Dvipavatim Mayim. The entire Bhumandala consisting of 7 islands. So here Vidura says that you should describe how the two sons of Svayambhuva Manu, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, protected the entire Bhumandala with its 7 islands. So there he expressed a desire to hear about Svayambhuva Manu and also his two sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada. And then he further says, so in between there are a couple of verses wherein he asks about, I heard that Svayambhuva Manu had 3 daughters, Akuti, Prasuti and Devahuti. And Devahuti was given in marriage to Kardama. Kardama was a great soul. And by their marriage, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Kapila. And he is well known as the teacher of Sankhya. So I would like to know about Lord Kapila and about his Sankhya Yoga. That is like verse number 3 and 4. And next in the last 5th verse, Vidura is asking that Ruchir yo Bhagavan Brahman Daksho va Brahmana Suta Yata Sasarja Bhutani Labdva Brahmyam Chamanavim. So, wherein he says that, please describe how the sons of Brahma, known as Ruchi. Ruchi is also Brahma's son, and Daksha is also another son of Brahma. Kardama is also another one son of Brahma. All the three are different sons of Brahma. So, please describe how the different sons of Brahma, Ruchi, Kardama, and Daksha, obtained in marriage Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti, the three daughters of Svayambhuva Manu, as their wives. And how did they produce different variety of offsprings? So I would like to understand about Svayambhuva Manu's 5 children's lineages. Svayambhuva Manu had 5 children: Priyavrata, Uttanapada, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. So please tell me about the descendants of all these 5 illustrious children of Svayambhuva Manu. So out of these many inquiries, in the third canto, Maitreya only spoke about how Devahuti was given in marriage to Kardama, how they begot 9 daughters and 1 son, that was Lord Kapila, and eventually how Lord Kapila taught the teachings of Lord Kapila to Mother Devahuti. Eventually the perfection, in between the perfection of Kardama Muni, at the end the perfection of Devahuti, were all the subject matter of third canto. So now in the fourth canto and also some part of the fifth canto, Maitreya is going to answer the remaining inquiries of Vidura. He is going to talk about Priyavrata, Uttanapada, and their descendants, and he is going to talk about the descendants of Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. So that is the subject matter for the entire fourth canto and also for the first half of the fifth canto. Just like that. So what all we see in the fourth canto is a brief summary of the entire fourth canto here. In the fourth canto, in 31 chapters, there are 31 chapters in the fourth canto. There is a description of Visarga. What was created by Brahma and the Manus and the Prajapatis by the order of the Supreme Lord. So in the third canto, we have specifically seen that what all was created by Brahma. In the fourth canto, we are going to say what is further created by Brahma's sons, Brahma's various children, known as Prajapatis, Manu, etc. etc. Different names are given to them. So how did they continue the creation? Because Brahma created through his mind. Just by thinking about someone, the creation is taking place. Or from his bodily limbs, from one limb, one person is appearing like that. But by the creation of Svayambhuva Manu and Satarupa, Lord Brahma stopped his creation. His creation ends with the creation of Svayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. And from these two people, the creation continued with the combination of male and female forms. The process of procreation is established by them. So it is continued further. So that is, with that process, the creation goes till the end of the day of Brahma. And at the end of the day of Brahma, Lord Shiva destroys everything that has been created and maintained till now. So that is the whole process of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So this fourth canto and also the part of the fifth canto talks about how the creation carried out by Svayambhuva Manu's, the Lord Brahma's children, like Prajapati, Svayambhuva Manu, and others, etc.
At the end of the day of Brahma, you said Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva destroys everything that has been created by Brahma and maintained during the day of Brahma. That everything that will be destroyed by Lord Shiva.
Is that pralaya is called?
It is called Naimitika Pralaya. So now, out of 31 chapters, in one chapter, the Manus and Manu's daughters are described. In the first chapter, the description of Svayambhuva Manu and his daughters and their children. The descendants of the daughters of Svayambhuva Manu are described in the first chapter. And then next in 6 chapters, the destruction of Daksha's Yajna. Daksha Yajna episode is described, starting from 2nd chapter to 7th chapter. And its restoration also described. Both the performance of sacrifice and its restoration. Everything is described from 2 to 7. Then, in the 5 chapters, the pastimes of Dhruva are described. Dhruva Maharaj's pastime is described from chapter number 8 to 12. And then 11 chapters describe Prithu Maharaj. Chapter 13 to 23 talks about the various pastimes of King Prithu. And then 8 chapters describe Prachetas. Chapter 24 to 31 talks about Prachetas and their father Prachina Barhi. So these are like this. Of course, in the entire fourth canto, we are going to talk about the 4 personalities: Daksha, Dhruva, Prithu, and Prachetas. Also, in between, many other people also will come: King Ganga, Vena, Prachin Bari, etc. So, but these are the main principal people, the principal devotees about whom we are going to talk about.
Hare Krishna.
So, yes, Prabhu, thoda little louder.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji,
Yeah.
this is Madhavi Gopidas. Prabhuji, we say that we have learned prior also that there are 14 Manus in the day of Brahma.
Yes.
So this is the first Manu and his lineage, what we are trying, will going to be studying in the fourth canto. So
Yes.
once the one manvantar ends, also there is some Anchik Pralaya, right?
Yeah.
After the one Manu's lineage is over. So when the
Yes.
next Manu comes up, so that time also first Brahma creates something and then that another Manu's lineage starts. It is like that, means that will be
No,
described.
that will be discussed. We will discuss about it elaborately in the 6th canto. It comes there. But today also we will, if not today, maybe next week we'll talk about how it happens. There is a mention about that also in the first chapter. We will discuss about that.
Okay.
What happens at the end of one Manu and at the beginning of second one, next Manu, subsequent Manu.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. So, third canto, chapter 1 to 4 talks about under what circumstances Vidura happened to meet Maitreya. And the discussion of third canto, fourth canto goes ahead. So before meeting Maitreya, Vidura, understanding that Lord Krishna disappeared from this world, wanted to go to Vrindavan to take darshan of Vrindavan finally before he also could depart from this world. There he happens to meet Uddhava, hears Krishna Katha in brief, then with a desire to know more about it, and by the request of Uddhava, Vidura goes to Haridwar. There he meets Maitreya. And he talks about some of the important and very pertinent questions to all of us, the conditioned souls who are going through perpetual misery in this material world, life after life. For our benefit, Vidura asks very pertinent questions to Maitreya. As answer to that, Maitreya speaks about Sarga, the Prakriti Srishti, the primary creation of the 24 elements, by their combination, the manifestation of unlimited universes, and the birth of Brahma, everything by Lord Mahavishnu. That has been described in the third canto, starting from chapter 5 to 11. That was known as Sarga or Prakriti Srishti or primary creation by Mahavishnu. And then the subsequent secondary creation known as Visarga, or is also known as Vaikrita Srishti, which is basically the secondary creation of the 14 planetary systems and the creation of the different variety of living entities by Lord Brahma. That has been described in chapter 10, 12 and 20 of the third canto. After creating Svayambhuva Manu, Lord Brahma stops creation and he establishes the process of continuing creation through procreation. So that is called Nitya Srishti, the daily creation. Every day living entities are born. So through the combination of male and female forms. So that is called Nitya Srishti. And that Nitya Srishti, an example of Nitya Srishti, how it continues, can be seen starting from the 21st chapter of the third canto all the way up to the 15th chapter of the fifth canto. This is called subsequent daily creation by the descendants of Lord Brahma, who are known as Prajapati, Svayambhuva Manu and his children, etc. etc. So the creation Nitya Srishti continues throughout the day of Brahma. In a day of Brahma, we have 14 manvantara periods. And what happened in the first manvantara period, which is known as Svayambhuva Manvantara period, that is mentioned starting from chapter 21 of the third canto. To be more precise, chapter 1 of 4th canto all the way up to 15th chapter of the 5th canto. So these chapters specifically talk about how the creation went on in the Svayambhuva manvantara period. Then Bhagavatam does not talk about what happens in the second manvantara known as Swaroshisha, third manvantara known as Uttama, fourth manvantara known as Tamasa, fifth manvantara known as Raivata. Not many details are mentioned, but briefly touched about in the 8th canto somewhere later. And then what happened in the 6th manvantara, that is Chakshusha manvantara, that is given in the 6th canto. 6th canto, 7th canto and the first half of the 8th canto talks about what all happened during the 6th manvantara, Chakshusha manvantara. And then starting from the second half of the 8th canto, 9th canto talks about what all happened in the current Vaibhav manvantara, which is the 7th manvantara, all the way up to the birth of Lord Krishna. And then in relation to Lord Krishna, all his pastimes are elaborately mentioned in the 10th canto and 11th canto. Krishna's pastimes are mentioned. And what happened after Lord Krishna's departure in the current Kali Yuga, to the extent of 3000 years, who are all going to be appeared, who are all the kind of kings will appear and rule over. That is also mentioned in the 12th canto. About 3000 years, who are all the kings that will be ruling this Bharatavarsha or Bharatakanda, whatever it is. That is also kind of mentioned in the 12th canto. And 12th canto also talks about at the end of the current Kali Yuga, how by the intervention of Lord Kalki, the Yuga transition will take place. How the Kali Yuga will transform into Satya Yuga. That is also mentioned. So by indicating that things will go on like this for the rest of the day of Lord Brahma. Of course, 8th canto talks about who are going to be the Indras, Saptarushis, and other important personalities in the entire universe for the next upcoming 7 manvantaras also mentioned in the 8th canto. So like that, Srimad Bhagavatam gives the synopsis of the history of our universal creation, maintenance and annihilation. Starting from the creation by Mahavishnu, and it 12th canto also talks about the annihilation by Mahavishnu, the law of final annihilation, Prakritika Pralaya also talks about it. The entire manifestation, maintenance and annihilation of the entire material universes is briefly described in the entire Bhagavatam, highlighting the most important pastimes of some of the important avatars of the Supreme Lord, some of the important devotees of the Supreme Lord are presented in the Bhagavatam. And specifically, Lord Krishna is the recent incarnation, and these pastimes are explained very elaborately for 2 big cantos, 10th canto and 11th canto. So that is the whole Bhagavatam. So keeping that in perspective, now starting from first chapter all the way up to the 15th chapter of the 5th canto, we are going to talk about who are all the different personalities appeared in this Bhumandala as kings, and what kind of devotional activities they have performed and how did they attain perfection. Basically, for us, Bhagavatam is teaching about who are all the devotees in the past, what are the difficulties they went through and how did they attain perfection. So we need to hear about our Purvaj, Mahajano Yena Gatasya Panta. So we need to follow in the footsteps of the great souls. We need to hear about them. If we don't hear about them, how do we know about them? So the 4th canto and 5th canto, by speaking about various great devotees, talks about what all the difficulties can come in the life of a devotee and how to overcome all those difficulties. So this we have to learn, understand and try to practice. So this is the main theme of the upcoming 4th canto and also the first half of the 5th canto. So kindly keep this in mind so that while discussing all the pastimes, we will see what are the difficulties, etc. that can come across in the life of a devotee. So in the book, which known as Bhagavatam at a glance, Bhagavatam at a
Yeah. Can you please repeat the names of the Manus you mentioned, Prabhuji? Like apart from the Manu we are studying, you mentioned that Swarosha and like
Svayambhuva Manu, Swarochusha Manu, Uttama, Tamasa, Raivata, Chakshusha, Vaivashvata. I only remember 7 names. Other 7 names I don't remember. For that, you can refer to 8th Canto, chapter 13. You will get those names.
okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
So, those devotees who have the book, I mean, you can refer to it if you want to get a glimpse of what we are going to discuss in the entire 4th Canto and 5th Canto. So, Bhagavatam at a glance, in the later part of that book, the 12 steps, progressive steps of a sadhaka. So, one of the steps is what are the difficulties that can come in the life of a sadhaka and how devotees overcome them. So, different personalities which are being talked about in these 2 cantos. Every personality, in every personality's life, they have gone through so many difficulties. So, there is a brief list of that is there in that. Anyway, we are going to discuss them elaborately. So, in the upcoming cantos.
Just one question.
Little louder so that they will hear.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking that the Bhagavatam up till 9th canto describe about the devotees of Krishna who are mostly.
10th canto also about devotees of Krishna.
Yeah.
The most important devotees of Krishna, the Vrajavasis.
Till 9th canto, what I'm trying to say is the devotees are more into awe and reverence kind of feelings. Whereas 10th canto describes about the Vrajavasis who are absolutely in the another realm only. They are having different rasa. So
Yes.
in essence, if I have to say that Bhagavatam exhibits which particular rasa? I mean, there are 5 prominent rasa.
Okay. Here, Vajradhika Mata is asking the question that what is the main focus of Bhagavatam? So it seems that till 9th canto talks about the devotees in the mood of awe and reverence. 10th canto talks about the devotees in the mood of intimacy. So what is the main theme of Bhagavatam? So recently we were discussing for Sunday Bhakti Vaibhav, first canto. In chapter 5, also in chapter 7, we have kind of presented it. Of course, this is there in the Bhagavad Gita also. We have discussed whoever attended our Bhakti Asri. By the way, all of you might have forgotten. So in the 15th chapter, we talked about it elaborately. The 3 Shloki Bhagavad Gita, text number 16, 17, 18, and also adding 19, 20 of 15th chapter. So the Vedas, all the Vedic literature in total, not only just 4 Vedas, but any Vedic literatures. In general, they talk about Dharma, Artha, Kama. Any person, whoever reads these Vedic literatures, including the Itihasas and Puranas, for a normal layman or a neophyte reader of Vedic literatures, they understand that hey, we need to follow Dharma so that we get Artha, so that we can fulfill our Kama. The purpose of life is to fulfill all our desires in a authorized dharmic way, not in a sinful way. These are those people who have faith in the Vedic literature, the theistic people. When they read, when they approach the Vedic literature, they understand that the principal subject matter of Vedic literature is to follow Dharma. Dharma means in the bracket Varna Ashrama Dharma. According to one's Varna and Ashrama, one need to follow one's duties in a dedicated way so that they will get the rewards as per their dedication and surrender. So the rewards will give them facility to experience material happiness in this life, in this world, the place where we are born, where we are living. And the next life, they will be promoted to heaven and they will be able to enjoy in a better way with better facilities under better circumstances. So this is the primary teachings of the Vedic literature. And the path they follow is called as Sakama Karma. They are basically performing karma, which is nothing but performing the Varnashram duties. and that is for the fulfillment of their desire. That's why it's called sakama karma. But those who are little bit intelligent, who wanted to really understand this is the end of the meaning of the Vedas, it's something more than this. They go deep into the Vedas. Then they understand that we need to perform our varnashrama duties in a nishkama mentality, not with the sakama mentality, but with the nishkama mentality. The reason is to purify our heart of all material desires. This is the secondary level of understanding of the Vedas for those who are little intelligent, inquisitive, and who work hard to go deeper into the Vedas. And they understand that they need to follow Nishkama Karma as a Grihastha very nicely. And then after performing all the responsibilities properly, when the right time comes, transferring all the responsibilities to the next generation, they need to take on to pronounced order, either Vanaprastha or Sannyasa, according to their liking and qualification. So there they can dedicate full time in order to cultivate either Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. So as a householder, they practice Nishkama Karma Yoga. They purify their heart of all the material desires. When there are no more material desires in the heart, they are qualified to take on to renunciation. So then after taking to renunciation, they can practice very nicely Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. And eventually, with the help of Bhakti, which is there as an integral part from the very beginning, they will attain Sayujya Mukti. That is the second level of teachings of the Vedas. So this is called as Bhakti Mishra Karma. The Nishkama Karma Yoga is called as Bhakti Mishra Karma. They are actually performing Karma Yoga, but with Bhakti mixed in it. Basically, they perform Varnashram duties, offer the results to Supreme Lord. And then after renunciation, it is called as Bhakti Mishra Jnana or Bhakti Mishra Yoga. They are actually performing Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, but with Bhakti as a secondary element. With the help of that Bhakti, they will attain Sayujya Mukti. As we have studied in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, starting from verse number 41 to 55. This all talks about this, how they attain perfection, etc. 41 to 55. So this is the second level of understanding. But for those people who are a little more interested, is this the end of everything? Is the Vedas only talking about moksha in addition to dharma, artha, kama? So this section of the Vedas, which is actually talking about moksha aspect. We talk about four purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, kama in the purview of sakama karma, and moksha comes in the purview of nishkama karma, then jnana, then ashtanga. So, but some people who are interested in understanding the more deeper meanings of the Vedas, they go more deeper into the Vedas, then they get to know that they need to practice Mishra Bhakti. So Mishra Bhakti means as a householder, they also perform their Varnashrama duties, but they are dedicated to performing Bhakti. Their priority is to perform Bhakti, but as long as they are living in this material, they need to maintain themselves. In order to maintain themselves, they also perform Varnashrama duties. That is called Karma Mishra Bhakti. They are actually practicing Bhakti. Bhakti is their main principal activity, but they are also, because since they are householders, they practice Karma also in order to maintain themselves. That is called Karma Mishra Bhakti. And after fulfilling their household responsibilities, they are done with all the responsibilities. Then they can take on to renunciation, either Vanaprastha or Sannyasa. Then they can full-fledged practice Jnana Mishra Bhakti or Yoga Mishra Bhakti. They are principally performing Bhakti only, but now they are done with all the household responsibilities. They no need to perform any more karma. But now they take shelter of Shastra, trying to understand the essential meanings of Shastra, the nature of this material world, the nature of the Supreme Personality of God, nature of Atma, etc. That section is called Jnana Mishra Bhakti. But if the devotees want to give up their life, in the sense, give up this material world and the material body, and go to Vaikuntha and serve the Lord in all reverence, they take shelter of Ashtanga Yoga. Even though they are devotees, they take shelter of Ashtanga Yoga and give up their body, enter into Vaikuntha immediately. We will see an example of this particular activity in Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj took shelter of Ashtanga Yoga and gave up his body instantly and went to spiritual world. So these devotees are generally called as Mishra Bhaktas because they have some mixture of karma. As also they are practicing karma. As a Vanaprastha renounced order, they are practicing Jnana or Yoga also. They are taking shelter of Jnana and Yoga. They are called Mishra Bhaktas. They are generally the Aishwarya Bhaktas. They come under the category of Aishwarya Bhakti. They generally are, they desire to go to Vaikuntha or they are promoted to Vaikuntha where they will serve the Lord in Shanta, Dasya, Vasalya and Madhurya Rasas. But completely with Aishwarya. These are all aspirers of Vaikuntha Bhakti. So they perform Mishra Bhakti. So, and then, but still those readers of the Vedas, if they want to go more deeper into the, most deeper into the Vedas, they will get the most essential teachings of the Vedas. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartumaviyam. And that the most essential teaching of Vedas is Ananya Bhakti. Without any mixture of karma, without any mixture of jnana, without any mixture of Ashtanga Yoga. They just practice Bhakti. Just practicing Bhakti means Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. Except these 9 activities, they don't do anything else. They only do these 9 activities. They don't even go on begging for their sustenance. Begging is the duty of a sannyasi. If a Ananya Bhakta begs for his sustenance, he cannot be called as Ananya Bhakta. He will be called as Jnana Mishra Bhakta. So Ananya Bhaktas are that kind of devotees who don't do anything other than Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. Can you guess any examples of such Ananya Bhaktas? Okay, here devotees are saying Madhavendra Puri. Any other? Sorry?
Narad.
Okay, Narada Muni. बस दोनों लोग हैं अनन्य भक्तास. Examples.
Parikshit Maharaj.
So he Ambarish Maharaj is a Raja, is a king. Yes, so many examples. Here Mataji says Vrajavasis. How Vrajavasis are Ananya Bhaktas?
I think they are beyond Ananya Bhaktas.
No, there is no one beyond Ananya Bhakta. Ananya Bhaktas, the result of Ananya Bhakti is to going back to Vrindavan, where they will be able to serve Lord Krishna in intimacy. They don't have any conception of awe and reverence. Of course, in Ananya Bhakta also there are another category. They will go to Vaikuntha also, but they will be serving the Lord in intimacy. In the sense, the Aishwarya is superimposed or overpowered by intimacy. Even in Vaikuntha also, like Mother Lakshmi. Though she knows the position of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, but still she serves in intimate way, in that way. So it's like the mixture of both intimacy as well as awe and reverence. That is also there. But specifically Ananya Bhaktas, we can say that those who are aspiring to go to Vrindavan and serve Lord Krishna in intimate way. So something like that. 6 Goswamis, yes. Or
Uddhava.
He's a Raja. Uddhava? Rajavasi बनना चाहता था. He wanted to become a Gulmalata.
He became, no? He's still there.
Okay. He has become Rajavasi. Huh?
All associates of Chaitanya.
Not all associates, we can say. The intimate associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Panchatattva matlab they are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only. They are not different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The next level, the Goswamis and other associates, they are all Ananya Bhaktas.
So Prahlad Maharaj, though he was son of a king who was so powerful, so thing, but then he gave up all that and he was like for Hari.
After giving up where he went? No. I mean to say, he took on to Vanaprasada only. Na? See, it is not, I'm not dying to undermine them. They are also perfect devotees. They are also wonderful devotees. They are all Uttama Bhaktas. But there is a small distinction we need to see. Ananya Bhakta means they don't do any of the worldly duties, even in relation to sannyas order also. They are nothing to do with brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa. That in that, from that point of view, I'm saying.
Madhura Manu is a perfect example, as he said. Perfect example.
Goswamis also.
Yeah,
Sorry,
of
other
course,
Goswamis also.
yes.
Any grihastha devotee who fits in the category of Ananya Bhakta? Anyone who can think of in the past or in the recent?
Prabhupada.
Past means Puranas, recent means Prabhupada is sannyasi, no?
Janak Maharaj.
Sorry?
Janak Maharaj.
Janaka Maharaj is the king. He is a perfect example of Nishkama Karma Yogi. That's how Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 3. Janaka Maharaj is given an example of Nishkama Karma Yogi. I am not giving example. Lord Krishna only gave. Any grihastha devotee who is an example of Ananya Bhakta.
Prabhu,
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
becomes oxymoron now.
Sorry?
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
He has become sannyas. Sannyasi.
No, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Prabhuji. Sorry, I meant Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur worked as a magistrate for many decades. Sudama, your example is given as Sudama. Sudama was begging, na? He was living by begging. Is he not? That's what we studied, na?
He had family also.
Of course, family can be there. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking an example of grihastha devotee.
Prabhuji, Srivas Pandit.
Huh?
Srivas Pandit. Srivas Pandit.
Srivas Tagore. Yeah, that's what I was looking at, that example. Did Srivas Tagore did any household duties anytime?
He just clapped.
So something like that. So such kind of a householder can be called as a Ananya Bhakta. Once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, my dear Srivas, how do you maintain your family? He said, my dear Lord, very simple. I sit in front of my altar, I clap 3 times. Whatever I need if I get, okay. Otherwise, I'll drown myself. I took a vow that I will drown myself into Ganges. And Chaitanya said that, no, my dear Srivas, don't do like that. The Lord will take care of you. Not only you, but everyone will to you. So something like that. So this is not to make one lazy, but see, these are examples of complete surrender. They are in this material world, but they have nothing to do with this material world. Complete indifference. Anya means उनके लिए कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, जो है जो नहीं, उनके लिए सिर्फ कृष्णा है बस, उनका जीवन में भगवान चाहिए बस. Anya. They only want the Supreme Lord other than anything else, nothing else. So that kind of devotee is called as Ananya Bhakta. So in that way, that's how we can see the distinction.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, there is a small query, like you mentioned in this discussion in the beginning, that all those who go to Vaikuntha, they are the Mishra Bhaktas, like their devotion is not the pure, like it is mixed.
Sorry, I never said pure or impure. Pure, don't add something which I have not said. They are also best devotees. They are also Uttama Bhaktas. They also fit in the definition of Anyabilashta Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavrutam. Anukulena Krishnanushīlanam Bhakti Uttama. They are all Uttama Bhaktas. But they are all in the category of Aishwarya Bhaktas. They are not in the category of Madhurya Bhaktas. The Ananya Bhaktas fall in the category of Madhurya Bhaktas. They only aspire to serve the Lord in intimacy. Some of them might aspire to serve the Lord in awe and reverence, like Dwarka Vasis, Madhura Vasis, who have both the emotions.
So Madhurya means you mean all the 5 rasas, or only Madhurya rasa?
Like that of Rajavasis.
Okay.
All the 5 rasas, but like that of Rajavasis, who does not know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. For them, Lord means Narayana. Krishna is their darling.
So So all those who go to Vaikuntha, they have always will have the tinge of Aishwarya mixed with their whatever rasas they have.
The Mishra Bhaktas will have complete Aishwarya, and some of the high grade Mishra Bhaktas or some of the low grade Ananya Bhaktas will have the combination of both reverence as well as intimacy.
Okay.
So there is a kind of transition. The devotees in the Aishwarya, then little upgraded was devotees in the Aishwarya plus Madhurya, devotees in complete Madhurya. So it's like that.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Thank you, Prabhu.
So now coming back to the question asked by Mataji here. So what Bhagavatam is talking about? So there in the 5th chapter, it is said that while Narada Muni was talking about how he attained Bhakti by taking shelter of Bhakti Vedantas, in that section this comes. So the Vedas have 4 kinds of teachings. Sakama Karma, Nishkama Karma plus Jnana plus Ashtanga. Third level is Karma Mishra, Jnana Mishra, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. The 4th level is Anya Bhakti. Out of these 4 levels, Bhagavatam primarily talks about 3rd and 4th levels. Briefly, it may touch here and there the 1st and 2nd, but it does not give much importance to 1st and 2nd. Bhagavatam, the main focus of Bhagavatam is all about Aishwarya Bhakti and Madhurya Bhakti. And we see the examples of Aishwarya Bhakti starting from 4th canto all the way up to 3rd canto, in fact, all the way up to 9th canto. And 10th canto we see Madhurya Bhakti and also the mixed Bhakti, Madhurya plus Aishwarya Bhakti. So this is how we have to see the teachings of Bhagavatam.
So can we say like this, that up to the 9th canto, it's exhibited Aishwarya Bhakti.
Primarily Aishwarya Bhakti,
yeah.
but there and here and there touches about the mixed Bhakti, Aishwarya kam Madhurya.
So from the first 9th canto, who could be the example of Madhurya Bhakti? Nalo? He has access to all the planets, so that's how I'm saying.
Aishwarya is the devotee of Lord Kapila only.
She worshipped his mother because he was his son.
Still with Aishwarya only, na? She always revered him as Bhagavan. She knows that Brahma told the Supreme Lord appeared in your entered into your room. She knows that you are my Lord. She always said you are my Lord. So we can say that mixed feeling is there. She is seeing him as son, but in the background she never forgot that he's just my son. He is always known to them that he is my Lord. Kuntimara and Aishwarya, complete Aishwarya. Aunt is there, but
She knew that he is.
but even though aunt, but they don't be so frivolous with Krishna. In fact, you can see the Pandavas. You can say mixture is there. Aishwarya is there, thoda sa Madhurya is there. But Aishwarya is more, but Madhurya is there. Thoda sa Madhurya is there. They have a little bit intimacy, but Aishwarya is always there. So that's why I'm saying that in the first 9 cantos we see complete Aishwarya or Aishwarya plus Madhurya. In the 10th canto, the Vrajavasis we see complete Madhurya, and the Maduravasi, Dwarakavasis are like Madhurya plus Aishwarya. So, in that way. So now, in the next upcoming chapters, 4th canto, 5th canto, we are going to see all these things. The 3 daughters known as Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti, the 2 sons were Uttanapada and Priyavrata. The 3 daughters were given in marriage. Devahuti was given in marriage to Kardama. About their marriage and their children, we have discussed in 3rd canto, starting from chapter 21 to 33. So how Kardama was given marriage to, how Devahuti was given marriage to Kardama, how they begot 9 daughters and 1 son, how Lord Kapila taught everything to Mother Devahuti. That is all the subject matter of the 3rd canto. And the descendant of the 9 daughters of Devahuti and Kardama is mentioned in the 1st chapter of the 4th canto. So that is about Devahuti. And then Akuti married to Ruchi and their children. They are mentioned in the 4th canto, starting from verse number 1 to 8. They had the Supreme Lord as their son, Lord Yajna. Just like Mother Devahuti had the Supreme Lord as her son, Lord Kapila, Akuti also had the Supreme Lord as her son, that is Lord Yajna. And then the 3rd daughter of Svayambhuva Manu married to Daksha. And through their marriage, they gave birth to 16 daughters. Out of 16 daughters, one daughter name was Murti. She was given in marriage to Dharma. And Murti begot the Supreme Lord as her sons, Nara, Narayana Rishis. So in the family of Prasuti also the Supreme Lord appeared. And then the two sons, Uttanapada and Priyavrata. Uttanapada married Suruchi and Suniti. In that lineage also Supreme Lord appears as Purtu. Purtu is the Supreme Lord. So Uttanapada lineage comes Dhruva, then eventually King Prutu, Prachina, Barshit and Prachitas. We are discussing about all these important personalities in the fourth canto, starting from 8th chapter all the way to 31. In the previous section, starting from 2nd to 7th chapter, we talk about Daksha. Daksha is also a devotee. We talk about them. And finally, in the 5th canto, we talk about Priyavrata. He is the another son of Svayambhuva Manu. So we also see his children, Agnidhara, Nabi, Rishabdeva, Bharat Maharaj, and Gaya, etc. So in the lineage of Priyavrata, the Supreme Lord appeared as Rishabdeva. In the lineage of Uttanapada, the Supreme Lord appeared as King Prutu. In the lineage of Prasuti, the Supreme Lord appeared as Nara Narayana Rishi. And in the lineage of Akuti, the Supreme Lord appeared as Lord Yajna. In the lineage of Devahuti, the Supreme Lord appeared as the direct son, Lord Kapila. And as her grandson, Anasuya, one of her 9 daughters, Anasuya married Atri. And Anasuya gave birth to Lord Dattatreya. So he was also born. Like that, 5 plus 1. 6 times the Supreme Lord incarnated in the lineage of Svayambhuva Manu. So why his lineage cannot be glorious? So that is the glory of our Svayambhuva Manu and his children. Supreme Lord desired to appear in their families. Yes, bro.
Narayana, this is 2 personalities or 1 personality?
2 personalities. Nara and Narayana. Both are 2 personalities.
Narayana,
Twin.
two different.
Yeah, 2 different.
Twins.
Twin lords. They are called as.
It's always confusing because when we talk about them coming in form of origin also, that's very confusing because we always said that this one incarnation, which is not Nana. Always thought it's one personality, but then they appear as
Lord Ram and Lord Lakshman. One is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Another is Supreme Personality of Servant. Krishna Balram. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. Like that, Nara, Narayana. Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nara is the Supreme Personality of Devotee. So they are all together. They are same and different.
So same duo come in Dwapar Yuga as Krishna and Arjuna.
No, we'll discuss about that later on. It will come in the verse. When they are born, that time we'll talk about it. What they are, who they are, etc. etc. So before entering into the 4th canto, if you remember 3rd canto, chapter 29, one of the devotees have also given presentation about Bhakti in 3 modes. Bhakti performed by a person in the mode of ignorance. Bhakti performed by a person in the mode of passion. Bhakti performed by a person in the mode of goodness. And Bhakti performed by a person in the mode of pure goodness. So we see these 4 examples in the 4th canto. Bhakti performed by a person in the mode of ignorance. Daksha is an example of that. How one should not practice Bhakti. By seeing Daksha we understand. And Bhakti performed by a person in the mode of passion. We see through the example of Dhruva Maharaj. And Bhakti performed in the mode of goodness. We see from the example of King Prutu. And Bhakti performed in the mode of Shuddha Sattva. We see the example of Prachitas. And also we see the examples of Narada Muni and Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva also comes at multiple places in the 4th canto. Narada Muni also comes at multiple places in the 4th canto. And these 3 comes under the example of Bhakti performed in Shuddha Sattva platform. Why it is so and how it is, you can refer to that book, Bhagavatam, The Seeker Journey. So in that all the examples are quoted how they are. representing those examples.
Bhakti performed in the mode of passion also.
Dhruva Maharaj.
This I didn't mention in my presentation.
Prithu Maharaj. See, it is not that they are all, their bhakti in that mode, it's not like that. What lesson we can learn from that person? Dhruva Maharaj started bhakti with the ambition to get a place superior to that of Brahma. That is the passionate mode he approached. But eventually the great devotee. A transformation took place eventually. But how do they approach? That shows. The Prachetas, their prayers indicate that these prayers are the sum and substance of a person in the mode of Shuddha Sattva. Narada Muni. How the Narada Muni is behaving throughout the fourth canto. And how Lord Shiva behaves from the beginning to the end of the fourth canto. We see Lord Shiva in the beginning Dakshayajna episode. And we see Lord Shiva in the episode of Prachetas. Rudra Gita will come in one of the chapters. So all these personalities will, it's basically by their activities we understand what kind of bhakti they are displaying. And King Prithu is Lord himself, but as a king, is actually establishing the principle of how to practice bhakti in the mode of goodness. The mode of goodness principle is purifying one's existence, working hard for attaining liberation. So that is the responsibility of a king to provide facilities for the people in general. Shuddha karo or Bhagavatam chale jo. So in that way.
So Amrish Maharaj also can be said in the mode of goodness, or he's Shuddha Sattva.
Yeah, we can take him in the example of Shuddha Sattva. Because he is a king, but mostly he's into Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor Vashanshi Vaikunta Gunanon. Like that we see. Even to the extent that even he is not caring for his own death. He accepted, though it's not a mistake, he accepted. Okay, no problem, I made a mistake. If you want to kill me, kill me. I'm okay. So that is the principle of Shuddha Sattva.
Probably Daksha also had some transformation.
I don't know. Call Daksha. He will tell you.
उन्होंने बताया था ना एक बार क्लास में, even after so many millenniums he didn't change.
Okay. So that was kind of introduction to the fourth canto. From various aspects, we see how the flow going from third canto to fourth canto and eventually moving ahead. Third, fifth canto, sixth canto, all the way up to 12th canto and etc. And different devotees, different obstacles that can come in the life of a devotee and sarga, visarga. So these are different aspects we can see the fourth canto, how it is coming in the order. So now let us come to chapter 1. Hare Krishna, able to follow all of you? Any questions till now? I'm sorry, we have not introduced the new devotees who have come, but whoever it is, it is a hearty welcome to all the devotees who are joining us to inspire all of us to continue our study of Bhagavatam. So all of you are welcome to our weekly discussions. So if any devotees have any questions, please, you can unmute yourself and ask based on what we have discussed till now.
Prabhuji, Ambarish Maharaj is a mixed devotee, like Aishwarya is mixed in his devotion, or it's a pure devotion?
Aishwarya plus Madhurya.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mainly Aishwarya, but little bit Madhurya. Thoda sa.
No examples.
Is that clear till now? Hopefully, there are no questions. So we'll move on. So in the first chapter, there are 66 verses, out of which the first 10 verses talks about the descendants of Akuti. In the middle part of the chapter talks about the descendants of Devahuti, and at the end talks about the descendants of Prasuti. So in between, other details will come. So we will discuss about all of them. So at the very beginning, in the very first part, in the very first paragraph, Srila Prabhupada, at the beginning of the fourth canto, he offers his respectable obeisances to all the previous acharyas. So Prabhupada says in the first paragraph, I am reading from the book. If you have book with you, you can see. First of all, let us offer our respectable obeisances unto the spiritual master. So someone can read otherwise. Someone who is there online can read.
First of all, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto our spiritual master. Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, by whose order I am engaged in this Herculean task of writing commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam as the Bhakti Vedanta purports. By his grace, we have finished 3 cantos already, and we are just trying to begin the 4th canto. By his divine grace, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya, who began this Krishna consciousness movement of Bhagavad Dharma 500 years ago. And through his grace, let us offer our obeisances to the 6 Goswamis, and then let us offer our obeisances to Radha and Krishna, the spiritual couple who enjoy eternally in Vrindavana with their cowherd boys and damsels in Vrajabhumi. Let us also offer our respectful obeisances to all the devotees and eternal servitors of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. Okay. So Prabhupada is expressing his gratitude to all the devotees, starting with his own spiritual master, going all the way up to Sri Radha Krishna. As we offer our Prayamdani prayers at the beginning of every Bhagavatam class. So same thing here you can see. So this is how Srila Prabhupada expressing his gratitude to the entire Guru Parampara. That is very much required. So similarly, Srila Vishnu Thakur also expresses his gratitude to all the previous acharyas in relation to him, his previous acharyas. So there is a verse comes in the Bhagavatam. Tam Sukaradyam Rujubir Ananya Sharane Nribi Kritagnya Kona Seveta Duraradyam Asadubi. So this is a verse from Canto 3, chapter 19, text number 36, where this verse is spoken at the culmination of the pastimes of Lord Varaha. Tam Sukaradyam Rujubir Ananya Sharane Nribi Kritagnya Konu Seveta Duraradyam Asadubi. What grateful soul is there who would not render his loving service to such a great master as the Supreme Lord? Kritagnya Konu Seveta, Kona Seveta Duraradyam Asadubi. What kind of a foolish who does not even serve the Supreme Lord, who is so merciful to all of us, who is keep appearing again and again in order to take us back to Godhead. Kritagnya Kona Seveta. Which kind of Kritagnya does not serve the Supreme Lord? Which kind of a grateful person does not serve the Supreme Lord? Anyone who understands what Lord is doing for all of us, out of gratitude will serve the Lord. As we read in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, verse number 8. What is the next? What is the next line? Iti matva bhajanti mam. One who knows me, that what I am doing for all of us, all of you, definitely will engage in my devotional service. Iti matva bhajanti mam. How? Buddha Bhava Samanvita. With completely manasa, vacha, karmana, in all respects, one will engage in devotional service of Supreme Lord. When one understands what Lord is doing for us, out of gratitude, everyone will serve the Supreme Lord. Only those who cannot understand the Supreme Lord, they will not have gratitude to Supreme Lord and they will not engage in bhakti. Something like that. The Lord can be easily pleased by spotless devotees who resort exclusively to him for protection. Tam Sukaradyam Rujubir. Rujubir means the spotless devotees. Ananya Sharaner Nrubi. Ananya Sharaner. They don't take shelter here and there. They only take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. And that kind of devotees can please the Supreme Lord very, very, very easily. Though the unrighteous man find it difficult to propitiate him. Only the unrighteous man will not take shelter of the Supreme Lord and will not serve the Supreme Lord. Krutagnya Kona Seveta Duraradyam Asadubi. Only a Asadu, it becomes very difficult to understand the greatness of Supreme Lord, understand His causeless mercy upon us, and understand, and does not become grateful to Supreme Lord. Otherwise, Rujubi, the spotless devotees are always so, what is this? They are so indebted, so grateful to Supreme Lord. They take shelter of the Supreme Lord and please the Lord very easily. So, something like that. Offering respects to Sri Guru, to Sri Krishna, who is the ocean of mercy, and to Lokanath Goswami Maharaj. Of course, from the Lokanath Goswami, from the point of Krishna Chakravarti Thakur, is his spiritual master, his Shiksha Guru, the eye of the universe. I take shelter of Sri Sukadeva Goswami, the speaker of Bhagavatam. I offer myself and everything I have to the absolute Lord, who is dear than the life to all the cowherd men and women, and to the service of his dear devotees. Here Chakravarti is saying that I offer everything that I have unto Lord Krishna, who is more dear than their own life to the Vrajavasis, both men and women. For Vrajavasis, their own life is nothing. For them, Krishna is more. So, something like that. And also to the service of the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. So, something like that. This is how he is offering. Basically, he is saying that I am going to write comment the commentary in 4th canto and also further cantos. And this is what I want to offer to you and to your devotees. This is only for the pleasure of you and your devotees. So, something like that. So, this is the mode of any Acharya, and following in their footsteps, we also should do, or we should feel, and we should say like that. So, that was the introduction to Canto 4. So, now we'll start with verse number 1. Maitreya Uvacha. So Maitreya is starting the discussion. Vidura already asked questions long back in the 21st chapter of the 3rd canto only. Now he is answering. Manostu satarupayam tisra kanyasta jajnire akutir devahutischa prasutir iti visruta. Someone read the translation.
Shri Maitreya said, Svayambhuva Manu begot 3 daughters in his wife Shatarupa, and their names were Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti.
Yeah. Through Shatarupa, Manu bore 3 daughters known as Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. It was very simple. It was known previously also. So, some connection. In the previous volume, in relating the story of Kardama, the family of Devahuti, Svayambhuva Manu's second daughter was described. Devahuti's marriage, Devahuti's children's names, that is briefly mentioned in the previous canto. To put things in order, now the lineage of the first daughter, Akuti, is described. Devahuti was actually the second daughter. The discussion should start with the first daughter. So to keep things in order, now Maitreya is going to start with the marriage and children of Akuti first, then Devahuti, then Prasuti, then the sons. So like that, he is going to talk about everything in order. Brahma had many sons, but among them Manu was outstanding for his devotion. This is the significance of the word tu. Manostu satarupayam. So Manostu tu indicates, though Manu is also one among the many sons of Lord Brahma, but Manu is one of the best devotees among the sons of Lord Brahma. And in the same line it comes that Manostu satarupayam tisra kanyascha jajnire. The word cha indicates that in addition to 3 daughters, Svayambhuva Manu also had 2 sons. So the 2 sons were Uttanapada and Priyavrata. Though their names are not mentioned, the cha indicates that they also should be considered. the 5 children of our Svayambhuva Manu are mentioned. Now one after the other, their lineage, their marriage and his children, their lineage will be mentioned. First to Akuti,
Utanapada and
Priyavrata. First Akuti we talked, then Devahuti, then Prasuti, then Uttanapada, then Priyavrata. Akutim ruchaya pradat api pratrimatim rupa putrika dharmamashritya shatarupa anumodita.
Really. Akuti had two brothers, but in spite of her brothers, King Svayambhuva Manu handed her over to Prajapati Ruchi on the condition that the son born of her be returned to Manu as his son. This he did in consultation with his wife Sati.
With the consent of Satarupa Anumodita, Svayambhuva Manu gave his first daughter Akuti to the great sage Ruchi, taking the shelter of a agreement known as Putrika Dharma, even though Hakuti had brothers. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, generally, when the parents, if they don't have sons, they only have daughters. So that time, while marrying their daughters, they put a condition to the son-in-law. They say that, my dear son-in-law, since I don't have no sons, your son will be my son. Whoever will be your first son, not the first child, but first son, he will be my son. So with that agreement, they will give their daughter in marriage, and son-in-law also will agree. And eventually, when the first son is born to them, that son will be given to the grandparents. Maybe 1 year, maybe there with the mother to nurture the child in the beginning, 1 or 2 years. Then later on will be brought to the grandparents' home, and they will treat him as their own son. And this condition generally followed or practiced when there are no sons. In spite of having Uttanapada and Priyavrata, Svayambhuva Manu put this condition to sage Ruchi while giving his daughter Akuti to him. Because Svayambhuva Manu know that the Supreme Lord is going to be born in the son of Akuti. Who would not want to have the Supreme Lord as their son? So understand, since he is a great devotee, know that, okay, this daughter of mine will be going to be the mother of Supreme Lord. So intelligently put the condition. So my dear son-in-law, I am giving my daughter in marriage to you, but उनका पहला बेटा मेरा बेटा है, आपका नहीं. So it's like that. Though Svayambhuva Manu had sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, Manu gave Akuti to Ruchi on the condition that Ruchi's son would be give back to Manu as his own son. This is called Putrika Dharma or Putrika Putratvam. Putrika Putratvam means the son of his daughter will be his son. Putrika ka putra apna putra banega. Something like that. Putrika Putratvam. Its another name is. So Svayambhuva Manu did not desire more sons. He already had 2 sons. So if he is putting the condition that your son also I want to have him as my son. So you want to have 3 sons. Why you want to take the son of your daughter? You only beget son. Now what is the problem? But he is not interested in getting more sons. He is interested in having the Supreme Lord as his son. He knows that he cannot be the father of the Supreme Lord directly. Only his daughters are going to be the father of Supreme Lord. So he has put that condition. So, but Svayambhuva Manu knew that Akuti would give birth to an avatara, since Manu had omniscience. And at the time of marriage, he put the condition that may the Lord be my daughter's son and my son as well. So it's like that. So this verse shows that what is that Putrika Dharma. Abratrikam pradasyami tubhyam kanyam alankritam asyam yo jayate putra same putro bhavet. So abrakritam pradasyami, saying that since I have no sons, I only have daughters, and I am giving my daughter to you in marriage. Tubhyam Kanyam Alankritam, I have decorated. I am giving you my well decorated daughter unto you in charity as marriage. Asyamyo Jayate Putra, Same Putro Bhavat. So, with one condition that whoever be the son of my daughter will be my son. That is the condition. So, in giving the daughter away, the following would be said: I'll give you my daughter well ornamented with few brothers. Abhratrikam actually means without brothers. But in the case of Akuti, she has only few brothers, not many brothers. But still, the son born to her will be my son. So Sage Ruchi accepted it and accepted the condition and married her. So that's how Akuti was given in marriage to Sage Ruchi. Ruchi is also one of the sons of Lord Brahma. As normal, Lord Brahma, after begetting their sons, he would say that, okay, my dear son, please get married and beget children. Sushti has to continue. Now you take the responsibility. I have done my part and all of you do your part. So Sage Rishi eventually married Akuti. So then what? Praja.
Hare Krishna.
Uh,
Prabhuji, I don't know, maybe this is my limited physical kind of a thinking, but is it not a selfish on part of a father to desire, like if the Lord is going to be son of my daughter, let my daughter not have the opportunity to serve him in a motherly affection, but I want that opportunity. So how we
Nate Vishnu Swartagatim hi Vishnu. One should have this one Swartagati. This kind of selfishness is well appreciated. No problem.
Okay.
This kind of selfishness is most desirable thing.
Okay. Understood. Yeah. So all the affection, worldly affection, we should leave aside and have that intense affection for the Lord. Yeah. Yeah.
Forget about the worldly morality. Let the Lord be my son. Let me serve the Lord as in what is a Vasaleras. Something like that.
Okay. Thank you.
That is the mood of Svayambhuva Manu.
Yeah. Understood.
Are there any examples you can think of such kind of Putrika Dharma conditions? What happened to Parshuram? Nothing. Oh, alage. That is alage. Any examples? Putrika Dharma. Mahabharat. One example is there in Mahabharat.
कुंती महारानी
कुंती महारानी ने क्या किया?
she was given to Kunti Bhojna.
Okay, she was given to Kunti Bhoj because Kunti Bhoj did not have any children. So Surasena had many daughters and many sons. So Kunti was given in. I don't know whether Kunti Bhoj later on might be having other sons also. Fine, that is fine. But initially did not have any children. So Kunti Bhoj was given Kunti. Okay, that is fine. But that is not a marriage condition, na? Here Putrika Dharma means in giving their daughter in marriage. So the condition is that your son will be my son. That kind of condition. It is because they don't have son. It was she was given. It is not with any condition. Kunti, the who is the wife of Shurasen's wife, is not from the family of Kunti Bhoj. She is entirely from different family. That kind of condition was not there in that family. Even the same thing we can see in Ramayana also. Who is that? Our Dashrath Maharaj initially had one daughter, Shanta. So there is another king who had no sons, no children. Shanta was given in charity to them. I don't remember his name. Shanta was given to another king, I think Romapada. So he was taking care of Shanta. In Romapada's kingdom, there was famine for 12 years. Then the Rishashringa was brought to the town. When Rishashringa came to that town, that kingdom huge rains came. Eventually, the Shanta was given in marriage to Rishashringa. And Rishashringa comes to Ayodhya and he performs Rajasuya sacrifice and Putra Kameshti Yajna. As a result of that, Dashrath Maharaj will have 4 sons. So that is also by request, not like Putrika Dharma condition. Putrika Dharma condition we can see in the case of Arjuna. When Arjuna was traveling for 12 years forest life, because he entered into the palace of Draupadi while Draupadi was with Yudhishthira Maharaj. He's supposed to go on Vanavas for 12 years. During that Vanavas, he happened to go to Babruahana's kingdom. What is that name? Tripura. Manipur, sorry. So in Manipur, he was invited by the Manipur king as a guest. While he was there, the Manipur king's daughter, he only had daughter. What is her name? Ulupi Chitrangada. Her name is Chitrangada. So she expressed her desire that I want to marry Arjuna. The king agreed to it and king requested Arjuna. So my dear Arjuna, my daughter want to marry you. Please marry her. But one condition. Your son will be my son. Because I don't have any sons. So your son will stay with me. Your son will not come to your kingdom. So Arjuna's son was Babruahana. Babruahana remained there only. So that is another case study of Putrika Dharma. So such kind of examples come in the category of Putrika Dharma.
So what was that?
You read Mahabharata.
Really? Like what?
He removed the poisons and
No.
I'm mixing up the story.
He did not take part in the battle. That's why he was not killed. He was the one surviving sons of Arjuna. So later on, because Arjuna in a way killed Bhishma by keeping Shikand in between, the other Vasus were not happy. The Vasus actually cursed, saying that you also will be killed by one of your intimate relative. There is a curse. So when after Mahabharata battle, there is a Ashwamedha Yajna. For that, the Ashwa was sent. Arjuna was following after the Ashwa. Eventually, the Ashwa came to Manipur kingdom. Then Babruahana, by that time he became youth, and another wife of Arjuna, Ulupi, she comes to Babruahana and she tells Babruahana that you fight with him, you kill him. And Babruahana says that, I mean, not kill him, you defeat him, something like that. You fight with him. So Babruahana says that, no, how can I fight with him? He's my father. I need to receive him. No, you fight with him. If you fight with him, you will be more happy than you receive him. So Ulupi incites in such a way that Babruahana will fight very vigorously. Eventually, Babruahana will kill Arjuna. Arjuna is actually dead. But Ulupi, with the help of one Nagamani, revives Arjuna. By doing this, Ulupi made Arjuna to go through the consequence of that curse pronounced by Vasus, so that Arjuna will become free now. He will have no more, what you can say, any other effects of the curse, etc. So Ulupi then says everything. So Arjuna cannot be killed by anybody else in this world. So Babruahana only was incited in such a way that to use special weapons to kill Arjuna. So Arjuna becomes very happy afterwards. But so that was the story about Babruahana. I don't remember other examples. This is one example I remembered about Putrika Dharma. Even today also in the modern days also there are examples like that. People follow that. When the grandparents don't have children, they actually adopt the children of their. Even among brothers also, if one brother does not have any children, they will adopt the children of the other brother. If children are with the two sisters are there, one sister does not have children, she will adopt the children of the other sister. So such kind of agreements are seen even today also. So that can be seen. Prajapati sa Bhagavan ruchis tasyam ajijana mitunam brahma varchasvi paramena samadhina.
Ruchi, who was very powerful in his Brahminical qualifications and was appointed one of the progenitors of living entities, begot one son and one daughter by his wife Akuti.
Yeah. After marriage, what happened? By intense concentration, paramena samadhina, the powerful Prajapati Ruchi, Prajapatisa Bhagava Rishi begot in Akuti 2 children of divine splendor, Mithunam Brahma Varchasvi. So the twins were born to Prajapati Ruchi and Akuti. And it is said that the children were not conceived just like that ordinarily. Richi itself is a great sage. He is completely dedicated to the service of the Supreme Lord. That's why it is said that Paramena Samadhina is on the highest order of Samadhi. So such kind of person could please the Supreme Lord to that extent that the Supreme Lord agrees to become his son and appeared as his son. So something like that. And Brahma Varchasvi, in relation to the two sons, the two children have the Varchasva of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For Ruchi, he is a perfect example of a Brahmana. He is the epitome of follower of all the Brahmanical principle. So this word can be taken for both the personalities. So like that, the two children, the two important children were born. So Prabhupada actually talks about the important qualities of a Brahmana in the purport. What are the different important qualities of a Brahmana, how they should conduct their life, etc. etc. So that with that Brahmanical qualities, they can actually very easily attract the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like that it is indicated. Now, who are those two children who are born with Brahma Varchasva, with the Varchasva of the absolute truth? Here Brahma is not Lord Brahma. Brahma refers to Brahman or absolute truth. So in that way. Yastayo Purushas Sakshat Vishnur Yajnaswarupadruk Ya Stri Sa Dakshina Bhuter Amsha Bhuta Anapayini.
Of the two children born of Akuti, the male child was directly an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his name was Yajna, which is another name of Lord Vishnu. The female child was a partial incarnation of Lakshmi, the goddesses of fortune, the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu.
So of the two children, one is male, who was directly the Supreme Lord in the form of Yajna. Sakshat Vishnu Yajna Swarupadruk. The male personality is non-different from Sakshat Vishnu himself, appeared in the form of Yajna. And the female was indestructible Dakshina, a portion of Lakshmini. Amsha Bhuta Bhuter. So Bhuter Amsha Bhuta. So the daughter was known as Dakshina. She is an expansion of goddess Lakshmi. The son was known as Yajna, who is an expansion of Lord Vishnu. Both Lakshmi and Narayana appeared as the two children of Ruchi and Akuti. So she was the portion of goddess Lakshmi, and thus there is no violation when the two got married. So apparently from our morality of conduct or the material laws of nature, we may say that these two are twins. They are like brother and sister. It is not like that. They are the direct expansion of Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi. And their getting married is not at all a violation of morality or a violation of moral conduct. So because their birth is not like our birth. So we need to follow certain rules and regulations in order to purify our existence. They are the epitome of the purity. Why they need to follow all the rules and material rules and regulations? So they do not belong to them in that way. Aninne swagruham putrya, Aninne swagruham putrya putram vitara rochisham Svayambhuva Mudayukto Ruchir Jagraha Dakshinam.
Svayambhuva Manu very gladly brought home the beautiful boy named Yajna and Ruchi. His son-in-law kept him within the daughter Lakshmi. So Ruchi kept him.
So out of the two children, as per the original agreement, Svayambhuva bought the powerful son, Lord Yajna, and Ruchi kept the powerful daughter in his own home. So it's like that. Now they are two separated. So in the purport, Prabhupada talks about why he is called Yajna, because he is called as Shampati. He is the master of the Yajna, that's why his name comes as Yajna, etc. etc. So Yajnartat Karmana. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we read from third chapter. Yajnartat Karmano Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. Sorry, Yajnartat Karmano Anyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. Tadartham Karma Kaunteya Mukta Sangha Samachara. So we need to perform all the activities as an offering to Lord Yajna. Matlab basically Yajna means Yajna Purusha, the presiding deity over the performance of Yajna, something like that. So that was the whole idea.
Can I ask one question? As you're saying that Yajna is the person for the sacrifice. So whenever anybody is putting sacrifice, it's actually meant for Vishnu or for the Lord Yajna, right? But when we offer the oblations, we say Swaha. That lady, I mean, she is wife of Indra. Like whenever we offer, like the Rishi, they tell us, like whosoever is performing.
Idam Indraya Swaha, Idam Namama, Idam Chandraya Swaha, Idam Namama.
So the word Swaha is basically they say that she's wife of Indra.
Okay.
So when we say
No, it is not like that. Swaha is offered to the fire.
I've read it somewhere.
Maybe different interpretations when we say that Idam Indraya Swaha, Idam Namama means it is offered into the fire, which is nothing but the Yajna, the sacrificial fire, as an offering. The oblation into the fire, and it is not for me. It is meant for Indra, who is the hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Something like that. Swaha means basically the offering. But it may be representing the name Swaha. About that, their name comes in this chapter. She was given in marriage to Agnis. Swaha was given in marriage to Agni. So she married Agnis. Yeah. Because Agni is there and his wife also will be there. Both will be there, na? So उनको offer कर रहे हैं कुछ problem. In that way. Swaha basically the offering, the process of offering.
So she's not wife of Indra, she's wife of.
No, she is not wife of Indra. Is she the wife of Agni? This chapter talks about it. So then what happened? Tam kamayanam Bhagavan Uvaha Yajushampati Tushtayam Toshamapanno Janaya Dvajasatmaja Tosha Pratosha Tantosho Bhadra Shanta Idaspati Idma Kavi Vibhu Swana Sudevo Rochano Dushat. Please read someone.
The Lord of the ritualistic performance of Yajna later married Dakshina,
Little louder.
who was anxious to have the personality of Godhead as a husband. And in this wife, the Lord was also very much pleased to beget 12 children. The 12 boys born of Yajna and Dakshina were named Tosha, Pratosha, Santosha, Bhadra, Shanti, Idaspati, Idma, Kavi, Vibhu, Swahana, Sudeva, and Rochana.
So eventually, now they are born and they are separated. Svayambhuva Manu brought the son and Ruchi kept the daughter. Eventually, they grow up to youth. Then they were married. The Lord of Sacrifice, Lord Vishnu, who is known as Yajna here, married Dakshina. Who desired him? Dakshina desired him to marry. Katam Kamayanam Bhagavan. Dakshina desired Lord Yajna to marry. So, as per their desire, the marriage is done. And taking pleasure in her, who was satisfied, produced 12 sons. The 12 sons were named Tosha, Pratosha, Santosha, Bhadra, Shanti, Idaspati, Idma, Kavi, Vibhu, Svana, Sudeva, and Rochana, etc. etc. So here one interesting point is there. Tam Kamayanam Bhagavan Uvaha Jushampati. Jushampati is Lord in Yajna is called as Vishampati. Tushtayam Tosha Mapanno Ajanayad Dvajas Atmajan. The wife and her husband are satisfied with each other. So taking this clue, Prabhupada talks about the how the wife and husband should be satisfied with each other in the entire purport. An ideal husband, of course, someone can read the entire purport. It's purport 6.
Ideal.
Will be recorded. आपका voice.
An ideal husband and wife are gradually called Lakshmi Narayan to compare them to the Lord and the goddess of fortune. For it is significant that Lakshmi Narayan are forever happy as husband and wife. A wife should always remain satisfied with her husband, and a husband should always remain satisfied with his wife. In the Chanakya shloka, the moral instructions of Chanakya Pandit, it is said that if a husband and wife are always satisfied with one another, with the goddess of fortune, then the goddess of fortune automatically comes. In other words, where there is no disagreement between husband and wife, all material opulence is present and good children are born. Generally, according to the Vedic civilization, the wife is trained to be satisfied in all conditions, and the husband, according to the Vedic instructions, is required to please the wife with sufficient food, ornament, and clothing. Then, if they are satisfied with their mutual dealings, good children are born. In this way, the entire world can become peaceful. But unfortunately, in this age of Kali, there are no ideal husbands and wives. Therefore, unwanted children are produced, and there is no peace and prosperity in the present day world.
So Prabhupada talks about the important principle of household order. Later on in the 4th canto only we read this, I think one of the last chapters. Narada Muni was speaking to Prachetas. So how to please the Supreme Lord? He says that Naya Sarva Bhuteshu Santushta Enakenava Sarvendriyopashantya cha Tushyati Ashu Janardana. Tushyati Ashu. Ashu means very quickly one can please the Supreme Lord. Lord Shiva is called as Ashtosh, very easily pleased. Even Janardana also becomes very easily pleased when we follow these 3 principles. Somewhere it comes. The Muni speaks to Prachetas, I think last chapter. Last chapter of the 4th canto. 31st chapter. So the idea is that a renounced order, either Vanaprastha or Sannyasa, their principal activity is Daya Sarva Bhuteshu. They are supposed to show compassion to each and every living entity. Because they need to go out and preach Krishna consciousness. That is their principal activity. And the principal activity for a householder is Santushta Enakenava. They should be satisfied with whatever comes by the will of the destiny. They should not have so many anchorings. Is there? Is that if there are more anchorings, more time will go in that. More hard work, more anchoring, more time, everything will go in that. So one is left with less amount of time for spiritual practices. And if there are more hankerings, the person is not ready for renunciation only, not ready for detachment only, because hankerings are not satisfied. If there are only few, can be easily fulfilled. If there are many, more hard work is required, but time is limited. It is not that more hankerings are there, so I can live for more hundreds of years. That is not possible. Everyone has limited lifespan. So something like that. Santushta Enakenava. The important principle for a householder is Santushta Enakenava. They are supposed to be satisfied with whatever they have, so that they will have more time, energy, and more space for spiritual practices. And eventually they become detached from the material facilities, material anchorings, and then get into full-time dedicated to activities of spiritual life. And then for brahmacharis, Sarvendriyopashantacha. They're supposed to keep their mind and senses under complete control. That is very important activity for them, which is very difficult also. So this is how, if they follow these 3 things, and people in these 3 orders can very easily please the Supreme Lord. So in this like that. The same thing we can see here. Tushtayam Toshayam Apanno. So they should be satisfied with each other with whatever facilities that are available at their disposal and use the time and energy in the service of the Supreme Lord. That was the whole idea. Otherwise, there is no end to needs or there is no end to the demands in this material world. So neither we have energy nor we have time at our disposal to fulfill all our demands. So something like that. So now, next further continues. Tushita nama te deva asan swayambhuvantare marichi misharshayo yajna sura ganeshwara priyavratautana padau manuputrau mahaujasau tatputra putra putranam anuvrittam tadantaram. Someone read the translation?
During the time of Svayambhuva Manu, these sons all became the demigods, collectively named as Ushitas. Marichi became the head of the 7 rishis, and Yajna became the king of the demigods, Indra. Swayambhuva Manu's 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, became very powerful kings, and their sons and grandsons spread all over the 3 worlds during that period.
Yeah. So, Svayambhuva Manu is the first king for the Svayambhuva manvantara period, the first manvantara period. So, in order to maintain the activities during a manvantara period, there are 6 important principles. Principal people are there. They are required, like 6 Sigma system. In the companies we have the standards, 6 Sigma system standards, etc. Same way, for a manvantara period to go on properly, we need to have 6 category of people. That list is given. Who are those 6 category of people during the Svayambhuva manvantara period? During Swayambhuva's period, the Tushitas were the Devatas. So the Svayambhuva Manu had, sorry, not Svayambhuva Manu, that Lord Yajna had 12 sons. And these 12 sons became the 12 principal Devatas. As like currently we have 12 principal Devatas known as 12 Adityas. They are responsible for 12 important activities. So like that, the 12 sons whose names are mentioned in the previous verse, they took care of the important activities during the Swayambhuva Manvantara period. They are the Devatas. Marichi and others were the great Saptarushis. So Lord Brahma had 10 sons. Out of 10, one was Narada Muni, was renounced order. One was Daksha, and there is one more Angira. Removing these 3 and remaining 7 became Saptarushis during the Svayambhuva Manvantara period. Okay, Marichi was one among them. And Yajna, the son of Akuti and Ruchi, he was the head of the Devatas. He became the king of the Devatas. At that time, there was no other living entity who can become the Indra. So Lord Yajna himself took the responsibility of taking care of the 3 planetary systems by becoming Indra. And Swayambhuva Manu himself is the Manu, the first king for the Manvantara period. He ruled for some time, and later on his 2 sons continued that rule, Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Uttanapada ruled and his lineage, which we read in the 4th canto. Uttanapada, Dhruva, led eventually King Anga, Vena, Purtu, Prachinabari, Prachetas, all the way up to Daksha. Uttanapada lineage is ruled. After the Manvantara is completed with that. In the second half of the Manvantara, Priyavrata and his sons Agnidra, and then his son Ajnaba, not Ajnaba, Nabi's son Rishabhadeva, Bharat Maharaj. Like that, they all ruled for the second half of the Swayambhuva Manvantara. Like that, for the entire Manvantara period, the Devatas will stay for the entire Manvantara period, but Manu may not stay. Manu may not rule. Manu will rule for some time, then his son, grandson, great-grandson, like that, one after the other, they continue to rule the entire Bhumandala for the entire duration of one Manvantara period. So it started with Priyavrata and Uttanapada, and they became very powerful kings for the entire Bhumandala, along with their sons and grandsons, and they were active during that period. So one interesting thing, you can see the same thing in our current Manvantara also. The 7th Manvantara is that of Sun God. Sun God's son was Shradadeva, He was the first Manu. Shraddadeva was the Manu, the first king of the 7th Manvantara period. He ruled for some time. Then he had one son whose name was Sudyumna. So while going on hunting, he entered into a forest where he is not supposed to enter. He became female. So eventually he forgot his past, but he was female. So he married the son of moon god, Buddha. So by that marriage, there appeared Pururava. So Pururava is the grandson of moon god. He is the son of Buddha, who is the son of moon. So Pururava is the grandson of moon god. So from Pururava, the moon dynasty began. Chandravamsha began. In that moon dynasty only we have Pandavas, Kauravas, Krishna, everything they come in that lineage. And later on he remembered that I am the son of a great king. I was actually a prince. I was supposed to be the next king. So what is this? What am I doing here? I become mother. What is this? I become woman and mother, etc. etc. He came home and informed everything to his father, our Shraddadeva or Vaibhav Manu. And Vaibhav Manu requested Vasishtha to do something. And Vasishtha played to Lord Shiva. My dear Lord Shiva, please don't do like this. We are dependent upon him. He is supposed to be the next king. Please do something. So Shiva said that no, I cannot do much. I can make him 1 month male, 1 month female. So he was ruling 1 month only, not 6 months. 1 month male. So 1 month he would come to the kingdom at the royal assembly and rule over the people. And 1 month he would stay in the home only, in the chambers. He would not come out. The people were not happy with this condition. He himself was not happy with that condition. So one day he said, no, it's better not to stay here. Let me go to forest. Like that he went to forest. There was no one to rule over the kingdom. Then again Shraddadeva performed a big sacrifice. As a result of that, he got 10 sons. The eldest among them was Ikshvaku. And Ikshvaku and his lineage starts the Surya dynasty, Surya Vamsha. In the dynasty appeared Lord Ram. So starting from Shraddadeva, Vaibhav Manu, the two sons, Sudyumna, through him Chandravamsha started. Through Ikshvaku, Surya Vamsha started. And these two will continue till the end of the Vaibhav Manvantara. So one may ask question, right? No, we don't see any kings. Where are they? So at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, which recently completed, there are two kings, one from Chandravamsha, one from Surya Vamsha. King Maru from Surya Vamsha and the elder brother of Shantanu Maharaj. Shantanu is very famous in Mahabharata, who married Ganga first and later on Satyavati. So his elder brother, King Maru and Sutapa. His name is Sutapa. So both of them currently they are in Himalayas. They are performing tapasya. They will perform tapasya for the entire duration of the current Kali Yuga. When Kali Yuga ends, when Lord Kapila appears, then they come out of the meditation. Sorry, Lord Kalki comes, not Kapila. So then Kali Yuga will transform into Satya Yuga, and these two people will get married and beget children and continue to rule, starting from the next Satya Yuga onwards. Like that, the rulership will continue till the end of the Manvantara period. Even much more time is there. Out of 71 Chaturyugas, we have only completed 27, including this 28 completed. Still many more are there. So that's how it is.
Beyond us.
Huh?
This is beyond us.
So it is like that. So thus, in each region of Manu, 6 types of personalities appear as manifestation of Lord Hari. Who are the 6 people? One is the ruling Manu, and then the chief Devata Indra, and then the sons of Manu, and then Indra himself, the Saptarushis, and the partial incarnation of the Supreme Lord, the Manvantara avatar also required to take care of the maintenance of the entire Manvantara period.
6.
No, it is there in your slides, don't worry. Manvantaram Manurdeva, it is there in the purport also. Manvantaram Manurdeva, Manuputra Sureshwara. So during a Manvantara period, there is a Manu. There are Devatas. There are Manuputras, the sons of Manu. And there is Sureshwara, Indra. And there are Saptarishis. And Amsha Avatara refers to Manvantara Avatara. Hare shed vidam uchate. Lord himself manifests these 6 people and then takes care of the maintenance of the entire manvantara period. It is the responsibility of the manvantara avatara to maintain the entire manvantara period. So during the first manvantara, who are the 6 people? The Manu was Svayambhuva Manu. The Devatas were the 12 sons of Yajna and Dakshina known as Tushitas. And the 2 Manuputras were Priyavrata and Uttanapada and their sons and grandsons, etc. etc. And that time Indra was Lord Yajna, who was the son of Akuti and Prajapati Ruchi. And Saptarishis are Marichi and others, other sons of Lord Brahma. And Manvantara Avatara was Lord Yajna and also Lord Kapila. Both of them were Manvantara Avataras. For the current Manvantara period, the Manvantara Avatara is Lord Vamana. Lord Vamana is the Manvantara Avatara for the 7th Manvantara. So he is the responsible for maintaining the entire universe for the entire Manvantara period. He maintains.
Purport is one thing is Sureshwara. What is Sureshwara?
Sureshwara means the Ishwara of the Suras, the king of the Devatas, Indra.
Vaman Dev is Manvantara Avatar for this current.
Current 7th Manvantara period. He is the responsible to maintain the entire Manvantara period.
Which goes on for 71 Divya Yuga, 1 month period. And so Vaman Dev is right now taking care of everything.
Yes. He stays in the abode known as Vaikuntha, which is located just above Satyaloka. Brahma stays in Satyaloka. Above Satyaloka, there is one small Vaikuntha. That is the abode of the Manvantara Avatara. That is where Lord Vaman is currently staying. And he takes care of all the duties. One important duty of the Manvantara Avatara is Yuga Dharma Pravartak.
Then that is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not. He is Leela Avatara. So Manvantara Avatara expands himself as or appears in each and every Yuga at the Yuga Avatara. In Satya Yuga at the Satya Yuga Avatara, Treta Yuga Avatara, Dwapara Yuga Avatara, Kali Yuga Avatara. And he will teach that the Yuga Dharma, which is supposed to be followed by people in general, following which they can go back to Godhead. That is the responsibility of Manvantara Avatara.
He has a big responsibility.
He is the responsible for maintenance.
That one Manvantara Avatar also takes avatar in different yugas.
He appears, he himself appears at the Yuga Avatara in each and every Yuga. It is he the responsible to take care of the maintenance of the entire Manvantara period. How does he maintain? Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhana madharasya tadatmanam sujamyaham.
So let's take the name. For Satyuga, Vaman Dev came as who?
Hamsa.
Hamsa, right? So he's actually Vaman. Then for
Dwapara Yuga he comes as Yajna. Yajna Murti, not this Yajna. That Lord who teaches how to perform Yajna, that's why it's called Yajna. Dwapara Treta Yuga is process is Yajna. Satya Yuga meditation. And Dwapara Yuga deity worship. He has different names. And Kali Yuga Harinam Sankirtan. So he comes and teaches about how to perform Harinam Sankirtan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Leela Avatara. He only comes once in the entire day of Brahma. It does not come again and again. But Yuga Avatara will come every Kali Yuga. And this time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, that Yuga Avatara also entered into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he taught Harinam Sankirtan. Something like that. So that is the responsibility of the Yuga Avatara. It's like, Manvantara Avatara. And when generally, in order to maintain Varnashrama Dharma, the king will take care. King or his sons, whoever is on the position, it's their responsibility to take care of the maintenance of Varnashrama Dharma. When things go here and there, the Saptarushis will come down as Acharyas and they teach to the king and the principal people in the entire kingdom so that the principles of Dharma will be reinstated in the proper order. And being taught by Saptarushis, being taught by Acharyas, the king will re-establish the principles of Dharma. Even things go beyond that. Of course, for us to practice our Varnashrama Dharma duties or Sanatana Dharma or Bhakti, whatever it is, we need to have facilities. Without facilities, we cannot do. All our facilities are provided by Indra and other Devatas. If they provide facilities, Indra provides rain, Vaibhav gives air, Sun God gives sunlight, Moon God gives moonlight. If none of things are there, what Bhakti we can do here? What kind of sadhana we can practice? They are all of them providing us all the necessities so that we can practice our sadhana peacefully. So we may have so many other mental anxieties here, but at least from the circumstance point of view, things are provided by the Devatas and Indra. When all these people go out of control, when there is a personality like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, such kind of people, when they come and dethrone Indra and they do topsy-turvy, if you do piety, you will go to hell. If you do impiety, you go to heaven. Such kind of rule they set up. That time, the manvantara avatara will come down and fight with the asuras and kill them and re-establish the principles of dharma after killing them. Something like that. So about Lord Yajna, how did you do that? Is explained in the 8th canto. About Lord Vamana, how did he do that? That is also explained in the 8th canto. Bali Maharaj became king of Swarga. That time, the Indra was supposed to be, what is Indra's name? Purandara. Purandara, or one of the 12 Adityas, supposed to be the Indra. So he was defeated by Bali Maharaj and he is sitting on the throne of Indra and he was performing sacrifice after sacrifice all the way up to 100. If he performs 100, he will be continue as Indra. So Lord Vamana has to come and stop. So my dear Bali, please wait. I put Purandara the king Indra for this manvantara. If you want to become Indra, wait till the next manvantara. So like that, put him aside. So that is the responsibility of the manvantara author. Like that they should do. They will do. So it's like that. Even the previous manvantara, the 6th manvantara avatara was Lord Ajita. That time also Bali already, not only Bali, before Bali ever who? Hiranyakashipu dethroned Indra. Lord Varaha came. Then Hiranyaksha dethroned Indra. Lord Narsingha came. And Bali Maharaj dethroned Indra. Lord Ajita came and told Devatas and Asuras make a truce and perform Samudramanthan. And eventually Bali Maharaj was defeated because Devatas drank nectar. They became more powerful and Bali Maharaj was defeated and Indra became again Indra. So like that, whenever there is a problem, things go out of order, the manvantara avatara will come and do the needful to re-establish the principles in the proper order. So that is their responsibility. So it is like that. So these 6 people are always there to take care of the entire, just like we have Mantri Mandal in the Parliament and in the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha or in that Vidhan Sabha, whatever, state government or Rajya Sabha, not Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha from the point of view of the entire India and legislative assembly in relation to state government. There we have Mantri Mandal. For every department there is one minister. So like that, the universal Mantri Mandal, Devatas and Indra. Indra is the main minister in that sense. So that is there.
Basically posts, so every
Yeah,
manvantara,
they keep changing. Every manvantara they all change, but they are all there in order to provide all the facilities for all of us. Otherwise, we are nowhere. They are providing all these things because so that we will practice bhakti or whatever sadhana properly and go back to Godhead. For that is the only purpose, providing all these things and maintaining all these things. Otherwise, there is no point. आपका मन का जिस सोचो प्रॉब्लम क्या है छोड़ सकते, but that is not the mission of the Supreme Lord.
They must be looking at us overheads.
the question is he looking also?
He's always looking. He's always looking. Suhrudam sarva bhutanam. So last couple of verses, maybe 1 or 2 verses we'll see and we'll stop for today. Devahutim adattata kardamayatmajam manu tatsambandhi shruta prayam bhavata gadato mama.
My dear son, Svayambhuva Manu handed over his very dear daughter Devati to Kardama Muni. I have already spoken to you about them and you have heard about them almost in full.
My dear Vidura, Manu gave Devahuti, the second daughter, to Kardama. First daughter ka complete ho gaya. Now second daughter. I have already told you about Devahuti was given marriage to Kardama and you have heard about everything about them. Devahuti Kardama ka बारे में पूरा हो गया. उनका children के बारे में भी बताऊंगा. So what happened to their children? It's like that. He told about Devahuti's sons and daughters in the previous canto. He says almost everything because he had not told about the daughters' descendants. Daughters' names were mentioned, their marriages also mentioned, but their children were not mentioned. The children of the 9 daughters of Devahuti and Kardama will be mentioned now. starting from 11 to 47. And then Daksha Brahmaputraya Prasutim Bhagavan Manu Prayachat Yat Krita Sargas Trilokyam Vitato Mahan.
Svayambhuva Manu handed over his daughter Prasuti to the son of Brahma named Daksha, who was also one of the progenitors of the living entities. The descendants of Daksha are spread throughout the three worlds.
So Manu gave Prasuti, the third daughter, to Daksha, who is also another son of Brahma. And the Daksha, through his wife, begot many children, and they populated the entire universe. So something like that. So basically, the children of Devahuti's daughters and the children of Daksha's Prasuti's daughters will populate the entire universe. So that is the whole idea. Ya Kardama Suta Prokta Nava Brahmarshi Patnaya Tasam Prasuti Prasavam Prochamanam Nibodame.
You have already been informed about the 9 daughters of Kardama Muni who were handed over to 9 different sages. I shall now describe the descendants of those 9 daughters. Please hear from me.
Kardama's 9 daughters mentioned previously, who became the wives of the 9 great sages, the 9 sons of Brahma. That was mentioned in the previous chapter, previous canto only. Please understand the sons and grandsons, which I now explain. So now, the children of the 9 daughters of Devahuti will be described elaborately. So these are all very important because these are the important personalities about whom we hear in Ramayana, Mahabharata and Bhagavatam here and there. All the great personalities are all mentioned, listed here. Patni Maricheshu Stukala Shushuve Kardamatmaja Kashyapam Purnimanam Cha Yayor Apuritam Jagat.
Kardama Muni's daughter Kala, who was married to Marichi, gave birth to 2 children, whose names were Kashyapa and Purnima. Their descendants are spread all over the world.
So, the first daughter was, her name is Kala, who was the daughter of Devahuti and Kardama. And she was given in marriage to Marichi. And Marichi, through her, begot 2 sons known as Kashyapa and Purniman, whose descendants spread throughout the universe. Kashyapa and Purniman begot many children and they spread throughout the universe. Purnima Suta Virajam Vishwagam Cha Parantapa Devakulyam Harer Pada Saucha Dya Bhut Sarid Diva.
My dear Vidura, of the 2 sons Kashyapa and Purnima, Purnima begot 3 children, namely Viraja, Vishwaga and Devakulya. Of these 3, Devakulya was the water which washed the lotus feet of personality of Godhead and which later on transformed into the Ganga of the heavenly planets.
Yeah. So Kala begot 2 sons, Kashyapa and Purniman. So Purniman had 2 sons known as Viraja and Vishwaga. So there is one son is Viraja, other son is Vishwaga, and a daughter named Devakulya, who became the divine Ganga from washing the Lord's feet. So another daughter whose name is Devakulya. There is one story I have watched a movie in Vishnu Purana. It is said, it seems based on Vishnu Purana there is a movie, animation movie. So once there was a Asura who performed severe austerities to please Lord Brahma and he wanted a blessing that. So I want to have immortality. And Brahma said, I cannot give you. Then he kind of put a condition that unless and until I will be touched by the foot wash of Lord Vishnu, I will not be purified. I will continue to live in this world. Something like some condition has put. Basically, uh, he wants to remain eternal only till the time the foot wash of Lord Vishnu does not touch him. Something like that. So then he was continues to torment all the devatas. All the devatas went to Brahma, said that, my dear sir, please, you have given such kind of blessings and this fellow is troubling us. And Lord Brahma told that, please, all of you go to this Devakulya and request her to become Ganga. So by the prayers of all the devatas and great sages, Devakulya, the daughter of Purniman, she transformed herself as Ganga. And eventually she kind of worshipped, that water is taken by Brahma and worshipped Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. And eventually that water became purified by the dust of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. And that water by force, like what you can say, we can say like a flood or like a tsunami, something like that, forcefully, it went to the place where this demon was performing some meditation, etc. It overflowed the entire area. So that demon was completely immersed by the water, being touched by that water. His heart completely transformed. He gave up all his demoniac tendencies. Basically, that his demonic personality got died, something like that. So he was liberated. So that was the past time. Actual details I don't know, but just I remembered some time back I watched one animation movie. So the descendants of Kashyapa will be described in the 6th canto. So these are the descendants of Purniman. Purnima had 2 sons and 1 daughter. Their details are mentioned here. Kashyapa's children will be told in the 6th canto, starting from chapter 6 to 18th chapter. So many chapters will talk about who are the descendants of Kashyapa, how they populated the entire universe, etc. Devakulya was the name of the daughter. In another birth, she became the divine river Ganga because of the divine act of washing the Lord's lotus feet. So, something about her. Atre patni anasuyatrin jajne suyasaha sutan dattam durvasa samsomam atmesha brahma sambhavan.
Ansuya, the wife of Atri, gave birth to 3 very famous sons, Soma, Dattatreya, and Durvasa, who were partial representations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. Soma was a partial representation of Lord Brahma, Dattatreya was a partial representation of Lord Vishnu, and Durvasa was a partial representation of Lord Shiva.
So then the second daughter, known as Anasuya, she married Atri, another son of Lord Brahma, and they gave birth to 3 very famous sons, whose names are Dattatreya, Durvasa, and Soma, who are the partial representations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. So their names are mentioned here as Atmesha, Brahma, and Atma, Isha, Brahma Sambhavan. Brahma is Lord Brahma, Isha is Lord Shiva, Atma is Lord Vishnu. So Lord Vishnu is identified as Atma. So Prabhupada talks about what do you mean by Atma, why he is called as Atma in the entire purport, because he is the very soul of the entire universe. He is the very Paramatma of the entire universe. That's why he is called as Atma here. So in order to attain that Atma, we need to purify our existence. We are subjected to 4 kinds of defects. So when we take shelter of Bhakti, we can be freed from the 4 kinds of defects, like imperfect senses, committing mistakes, cheating others, not cheating others. Imperfect senses, illusion, committing mistakes, cheating others. So we can be freed of these 4 defects by taking shelter of Atma, the Supreme Lord. So for that reason, everything is mentioned in that regard in the entire thing. So since Lord Vishnu is Shuddha Sattva platform, he is called as Atma. Otherwise, Lord Shiva is called Isha and Brahma is called as Brahma. So something like some details are general details which all of us study. So when Maitreya said that the 3 deities in their partial manifestation appeared as the 3 sons of Atri and Anasuya as Dattatreya, Durvasa, and Soma. Then immediately Vidura asked question. अत्रेर्गृहे सुरश्रेष्ठा तिथि उत्पत्ति अंत हेतवा किंचित चिकीर्षवो जाता एतद् आख्याहि मे गुरो.
After hearing this, Vidura inquired from my dear master, how is it that the three deities Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the whole creation, became the offspring of wife of Atri Muni?
So then Vidura want to know exactly how did these three people, the principal deities of the entire universe responsible for the creation, maintenance, and relation, how did they become the sons of Atri Muni and Anasuya? So what made them to become the sons of Atri and Anasuya? What inspired Atri and Anasuya to have the three deities as their sons? So that question is being asked. So what happened because of which, as a result of that, the three deities became their sons? We will discuss in the next week, starting from verse number 17 onwards. So this is for today. So hope all of you followed and I did not confuse devotees. So we'll stop here.
Dattatreya has three heads.
That's what the people in Maharashtra show. And they say that Dattatreya is the combination of all the three.
All the three.
But here we see Dattatreya separate and Shiva separate and Brahma separate.
He does not have three.
I don't know. No many details are mentioned about Dattatreya having three heads or multiple heads, etc. Some say the three of them became one, so that's why he has three heads, some say like that. And here in the Bhagavatam, we see that they are different. We know that Durvasa Muni is there, he comes in the later part of the Bhagavatam. And Soma is there, every day we see him. And Dattatreya, we worship in Maharashtra, many temples. He is famous in Maharashtra only.
And bordering Maharashtra and Karnataka.
Yeah, where? Basically, in the areas of Maharashtra. So Hare Krishna will stop here. Any, no confusions, I hope.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Clear.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This is Vijay Kumari Devi Dasi.
Yes, yes.
I have few questions, Prabhuji. Can I ask?
Yes, yes.
Prabhuji, you said that Manvantara Avatara is responsible for all the avatars in the 4 yugas. But we have read in the first canto, all emanations from all the incarnations are the emanations from the Rishirodakashaya Vishnu.
Okay.
So it is confusing for me.
Actually, in reality, neither Kshirodakshaya Vishnu nor Garbhodakshaya Vishnu nor Mahavishnu expands as avatars. Avatars are always there in the Vaikuntha. And whenever it is the right time, they come down and do the needful and go back. It's like a guest lecturer. In the college, we have permanent staff. And when there are no staff, we invite staff from other reputed universities. They come and they stay for 1 or 2 days and they teach all the subjects and go back. Something like that. So avatars are always there in the spiritual world. Whenever it is their time to perform pastimes and do the needful, they come down and do the things and go away. But when it comes to Yuga avatars, it is the responsibility of the manvantara avatara who appears as Yuga avatara and teaches the Yuga dharma. Otherwise, all the other Leela avatars, manvantara avatars, and Shakti Avesh avatars such as, they are always there in the spiritual world. They come down whenever it is needed and they do activities and go back. But they come down through the via medium of the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, because it is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu that is responsible for the maintenance of the entire universe. So he is like the via medium, through him they come. So that is how we need to understand.
Thank you, Prabhuji. One more question. So today we saw about Yajna and Daksha. So in the 8th chapter of the same canto, 4th canto, so I have read that when Brahma creates this adharma religion, so they also each brother marries their sisters. So
Okay.
that way, irreligion lineage, adharma lineage is created. So how can we understand the difference between the Yajna and Daksha and the Supreme Lord marries Daksha, and this Adharma lineage is created.
See here, Lord Yajna and Dakshina were directly Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi. So they appeared in order to perform the pastimes here, because the Lord Vishnu, there was no one to become Indra. So Lord appeared as Yajna and became Indra during the first Manvantara period. So, but when it comes to the other details, we will discuss about it again when we come to 8th chapter, the 4th canto itself, before Dhruva Maharaj pastime. All those personalities are actually the presiding deities of that kind of religious activities. For every activity that we do, there is a deity. For our breathing, we have deity as Ashwini Kumaras. For our talking, we have Agni. For our vision, the seeing, we have Surya. Our every activity is governed by one of the Deva deities. Every good activity is governed by one Devata. Every bad activity is also governed by one deity. So the bad activities, we will see about although that adharma, religion, cheating, harsh speech, etc., etc. They also have deities.
Okay.
So the first principle of adharma is indicated the marriage between brother and sister. So like that. They themselves are adharmic people. They are the deities of adharma, and they are enacting how the people of this world become the followers of adharma by getting into such kind of activities. So that itself, their activity itself is showing that this kind of activities will take place in the material world as adharma path. So in that way we have to see. They are all deities. Acharati iti, and what is that? Name. Acharati iti sabashikayala Prabhu. The Acharya is the one who teaches everyone by himself following. The adharma acharyas, they are doing it and hence they are teaching others how to do adharma. Something like that we can say.
Okay, Prabhuji, one more question. Sorry, please ignore my ignorance, please. Prabhuji, the Yajna we today saw about the birth of Yajna, and he becomes the Indra. So I always had that doubt that when we read the Prithumara Charitra, the same is that the same Indra who steals the horse of Prithumara's Yajna?
Yes, he is the same Indra. He is Yajna himself.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. One more question, Prabhuji, sorry. You said that Manvantara Avatara is this time Vaman Dev.
Wait. Sorry, you continue. The devotees are speaking.
Manvantara Avatara is Vaman Dev this time. This present. Is that Vaibhav Manu is the same person or different?
Vaibhav Manu. Vaibhav Manu is the Manu, the king. And Manvantara Avatara is the Amsha Avatara, the Lord who is responsible to maintain the Manvantara period.
Okay, both are different.
Both are different. Manu is the king, the first king. After Manu, his children will become the subsequent kings. As I mentioned, Sudyumna. Sudyumna became Ila and her son was Pururava. He started Chandra Vamsha. And Vaivashta Manu's another son, Ikshvaku, he started Surya Vamsha. So they are like their children. Now their lineage is continuing.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, there's one doubt I always have, that this is my little understanding, so I don't understand, but I always struggle to understand this, that at one point in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that I do certain things because people will follow me. Yadhyadha charati shreshtas tattva At the other point,
Wait, Mataji. You unmute once again. Or Preeti Naika Mataji is doing so many things. You can unmute and speak.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So we see that at one level, Lord says that for me, there is no need to follow certain things, but I still follow because otherwise people will follow me and they will be lost. So that is why I keep following. But also at the other level, we see there are certain pastimes of the Lord which common people cannot understand and follow, like how we saw that being a twin, they means Lakshmi ji and Lord, they appear as a twin and then they marry. So this is one thing, or even always the Parkiya Bhava, I always get confused that yes, that is the highest, means at one point I understand that is the highest kind of devotion, that even leaving the all conducts and codes of morality, one offers everything to the Lord. But at the other level, when we try to understand that many of the common people who will not go to such depth will think that okay, Lord is also doing that way. And I have seen sometimes people doing wrong things and quoting that even Lord also does that. So how we understand these both the things, like
Lord's pastimes are achintya. We cannot understand everything. If we can understand everything, what he does, why he does, he cannot be the Lord. So we need to give that uniqueness to the Lord. So he cannot be under our control, that he should act the way we want. That cannot be possible. And we should know what is our limitations, and we need to follow. And that just because okay, Lord is doing cycle, I will also do. But we are not Lord. So this, for more detail, more understanding of this, you can get it from 10th Canto, chapter 33. After that Rasa Panchadhyay, Parashit Maharaj also same question: why does Lord does this? Otherwise, people become bewildered. Lord is doing like this, why I should not do, etc., etc. Further, Sukadeva Goswami gives a nice answer, so you can read that section. So otherwise, my understanding is that just because Lord is doing, it is not that we can do it. We don't have that right to say that okay, he's doing, I will do. Not like that. He's doing many other things. Can we do all other things? We cannot do. Whatever is told to us to do, that we will do. That is best for us. Instead of just seeing them and doing, we need to follow their teachings, not their activities. So that is the important principle.
no, the point is not that, Prabhuji. The point is like at one level, Lord is saying that I do certain things even though I don't require to do, because otherwise people will follow me, and for them to follow,
Mataji,
I have,
Mataji, understood, I understood, but both are a different context. Don't go through literally.
okay.
Lord is telling that example in 3rd chapter in order to establish Nishkama Karma Yoga. And some things we should not do, that is in relation to Rasa Panchadhyay. That is the 10th canto. There is a gulf of difference between 3rd chapter Bhagavad Gita to 10th canto Bhagavatam. So 10th canto Bhagavatam things we should not at all dare to do it. We should never dare to think of them. And 3rd chapter Bhagavad Gita we should follow. So though Lord is not supposed to do anything, but he is perfectly doing all the duties of a householder. So we need to follow that. So it's like that. So we need to see contextually. We should not see literally.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Correction. Okay, we are getting late. We'll stop here. Devotees are getting late. So we'll continue next week. Hare Krishna. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Prabhuji.